Viewer discretion is advised.
I also want to start out by acknowledging that we have covered serial killers a few times in the past.
Yeah, multiple.
We got Eastern European serial killers, which was episode 92. Vampire serial killers, which was episode 104. That was a good one.
It was a weird one.
Yeah. And also Australian serial killers, which was 146. So
not to mention just all the
in general
cases that involve serial killers that we've covered.
In Australian serial killers, I covered that lady who like fed her victims to like other people in like stews and curries.
Yeah.
There are a lot of wackadoos out there.
I love it. I love
like
a good cannibal.
And some of them are on our Supreme Court. So anyway, my notes are going to be probably repetitive as compared to other episodes, but I'm sure you can all deal with it. I'm also sure that no one's jumping from one serial killer episode to the next in our discography.
Unless they are one.
I also don't remember anything we or either of you say 20 minutes after we say it. So this is all news to me, honey.
Little review.
Okay, great.
Okay, so the FBI has had several definitions of what a serial killer is. And this is from FBI.gov. Previous definitions of serial murder specified a certain number of murders varying from 2 victims all the way up to 10 victims.
So you could be a serial killer and only kill 2 people.
Well, these are all previous definitions. We'll get to their current definition.
Okay.
This quantitative requirement distinguished a serial murder from other categories of murder, i.e. a single murder, a double murder, or a triple murder. Because those have been used in the past, too.
A single patty, a double patty, or a triple patty.
Or a baconator.
Or a quad.
Yeah. A quad.
A quad stacker. When we were in college, Corey and his gross boyfriends would go, what do they call it? A McChublin.
Oh, what?
It's basically like 3 single burgers and then 2 McChickens, and they take them apart and just stack
the patties and just keep
with bread in between
1 and 2 buns, or keep the buns.
You're not doubling up on buns. It'd be like bun, patty, bun, patty, bun, patty.
I feel like I need to take insulin just hearing this. I'm going to vomit.
Yeah, I think we've solved his gallbladder problem.
McChublin.
It's not great.
So the FBI has defined a McChublin as a crime.
Oh, it made my eyes water.
Yuck. Your bright orange nails, too.
Guys, my gag reflex is muy sensitivo.
Muy sativa.
Yeah. Muy indic. No, it is sativa today. You were right.
I just took a gummy, too, which is also sativa. So right around your segment, I might be a little weird, too.
Oh,
to the moon.
Great.
Here we go, baby. Okay. Most of the definitions also required a period of time between the murders. So we talked about this in spree killings.
The cooling off period.
The cooling off. So this break in time was necessary to distinguish between a mass murder and a serial murder. Mm-hmm. Serial murder required a temporal separation between different murders, which is described as separate occasions, cooling off period, and emotional cooling off period.
Anyone else really want tempura?
Could be. I'm skipping past that. Could be any amount of it could be less a day. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, could it be 3 days or 3 weeks, 3 years?
I think it kind of depends on their MO, what they were doing during that time. If they were legitimately removed themselves from the mindset that they get, the mania that they get in when they're committing their crimes.
Didn't we also discuss this in the spree killer, where in a spree killing there's no, it's rapid bang bang bang, there's no cooling off period? That's a murder every day, or multiple murders in a day.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
But then with a serial killer, it seems I don't know, to me it's longer term commitment over time.
Yeah, so these definitions, they shift, and this specific article that I taking my FBI notes from was regarding a symposium, I think in 2022, They get all their experts together every so often, and they have like discussion groups to talk about.
Why are we not invited to that?
Because we are not experts, as we've demonstrated.
I think 5 years in, we're fucking experts. Where's our honorary doctorate from like
Right?
FBI University?
Can you imagine if we ever got an honorary doctorate? Zach would be pissed.
Yeah.
If anyone out there knows how to get us an honorary doctorate to make Kenyon's husband mad,
My
please
husband, who
hit
has
us
been
up.
diligently working his tail off towards an actual doctorate for years, and if I got an honorary one, he would flip.
I can print us off certificates like I made for our
no,
get
I
No,
want a
no,
together.
real
it has
one.
to be real.
Yeah, I want to be a doctor.
Oh,
I
yes.
want people
it
to
has
have
to be a
to address
real
me as
honorary
doctor.
doctorate.
I want a real honorary doctorate.
Fucking Taylor
Exactly.
Swift just got one. Why can't we get one?
Yeah. We're
What?
totally on that level.
Yeah, she got one.
For God's sakes. Okay, I'm gonna keep going.
Fine.
Generally, mass murder was described as a number of murders, which was 4 or more occurring during the same incident, with no distinctive time period between the murders. So, at this specific symposium, they decided on this as the official FBI definition of a serial murder is, quote, the unlawful killing of 2 or more victims by the same offender or offenders in separate events.
Okay, that makes sense. That works for me.
We're down to 2 minimum separate incidents.
Events.
Okay.
Right.
Symposium attendees agreed that there is no single identifiable cause or factor that leads to the development of a serial killer. Rather, there are a multitude of factors that contribute to their development. The most significant factor is the killer's personal decision in choosing to pursue their crimes.
Yeah, so
So
you can't just like always blame the parents or whatever.
No.
Like obviously trauma impacts
Well, right.
people's psychology.
Yeah, but at
like,
the end of the day, you haven't broken a crime till you broken the law till you break the law. So
Right.
there were several additional observations made by the attendees regarding causality, which include predisposition to serial killing, much like other violent offenses, is biological, social, and physiological in nature and is not limited to any specific characteristic or trait or gender or religion or what all that stuff.
Okay, I thought you were going to say that a predisposition to serial killing is caused by a predisposition to serial killing.
I did
And
start
was
to
like,
read it that way.
do not take
I'm sorry.
Zentiva and
If
you're allergic to
serial
Zentiva.
kill Tiva.
I wrote my notes like a week ago. I forgot that I did it
We're all
this way.
good. It's fine.
So I'm
It's
sorry.
fine.
I'm sorry. I started laughing
It's okay.
before you got to the end because I was like, yeah, duh.
These observations made by experts at the symposium.
Yeah, where is our honorary doctorate for real? This is bullshit.
Okay. Also, the development of a serial killer involves a combination of these factors which exist together in a rare confluence in certain individuals. They have the appropriate biological disposition molded by their psychological makeup, which is present at a critical time in their social development. So it's all these factors happening at just the right time might make a person predisposed to
I am telling
violence.
you right now, all these pandemic babies and pandemic toddlers, we are going to have a serial killer boom
I
in
think
20
so.
years. Mark
Yeah.
my words.
Yeah, there's
God willing, I'll be dead.
social
but-
advancement is not.
Yeah, maybe. They're going to be effects. I don't know if it'll go to
it's
serial
happening.
killing.
I do.
We can only hope.
Hey, listen. We'll start a pool. We'll start a money pool now. 20 years, serial killer boom.
Okay.
Put $10 on it.
Okay. There are
I
no
don't know how
specific
betting works.
There are no specific combinations of traits or characteristics shown to differentiate serial killers from other violent offenders. So it's not like the difference between a serial killer and, a serial rapist or something is just what they're doing. It has nothing to do with these factors.
Mm-hmm.
And the majority of serial killers who are sexually motivated have eroticized violence during their development. So for them, violence and sexual gratification are inexplicably intertwined, inexplicably
Like linked.
intertwined in their psyche.
So the majority of serial killers have this
the majority
eroticized
of serial killers who are sexually motivated.
So this is like
category.
describing Ed Kemper to a T. This like childhood trauma surrounding his mother and the eroticized link to like the sexualization of his mother, and then applying all of that trauma repetitively on like sex workers and other innocent
Also
women.
Ed Gein, also John Wayne Gacy. They had issues with their mothers.
Fucking Dahmer.
And eroticism.
All those motherfuckers.
Likely, well, Bundy.
Bundy def did.
Yeah.
He hated his mother.
Well, and he thought she was his sister for a while, and then they were like, surprise, she's your mom.
That was messy. I need Zac Efron to remind me about that story.
I know we just referred to a bunch of mothers, but it's not always mothers. It's just eroticizing violence at a young age. So a lot of times your mother is your primary, your opposite sex parent, you know. Okay, so these attendees identified certain traits that are common to serial murderers, including sensation seeking, a lack of remorse or guilt, impulsivity, the need for control, and predatory behavior. And these traits and behaviors are consistent with the psychopathic personality disorder. We've also done our psychopathy and sociopathy episode. That was so interesting. I love it so much. So psychopathy, as a reminder, is a personality disorder manifested in people who use a mixture of charm, manipulation, intimidation, and occasionally violence to control others in order to satisfy their own selfish needs.
Hello, it's me.
Oh my God, you are kind of a psycho. Which is good to note that all psychopaths do not become serial murderers. Rather, serial murderers may possess some or many of the traits consistent with psychopathy. But psychopaths who do commit serial murder do not value human life and are extremely callous in their interactions with their victims. This is particularly evident in sexually motivated serial killers, who repeatedly target, stalk, assault, and kill without a sense of remorse. However, psychopathy alone does not explain the motivations of a serial killer.
A lot of psychopaths become CEOs or politicians.
Doctors. They make
DJs.
great surgeons.
It's just
DJs for sure.
DJs, yeah.
They make great surgeons because they don't have as much like fear or emotional
how could you
attachment to their
possibly
patients.
Go home at night if you were
dealing
as
with like
emotionally
terminal
invested
cancer
in every
patients every
single
day.
case.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. So in terms of motivation of serial killers, we can kind of parse it out into 4 categories. The first is visionary. So the murderer believes that they are being told to kill by a person or an entity.
So Son of Sam.
Son of Sam with the dog, whatever.
Okay, I'm going to take this like a quiz. Here we go.
Okay. Then we have mission-oriented, and this killer kills in order to erase a certain group from society.
Okay.
So like the mosque shooting, like the Christchurch shooting. That was a mass. That was a mass killing. That wasn't a serial killing.
I covered someone who was racist, or also like even ones who don't sexually assault their victims, but they like go after sex workers. You know, there are a lot of like the like horror, whatever, religious bullshit.
Yeah. And these can also overlap, of course. Then we have a hedonistic killers, and they kill for their own pleasure. This is usually sexual in nature, but it's also comfort or thrill seeking.
So kind of a Dahmer situation, or like this would be like a Gein or a...
Yeah.
Even like BTK, I feel like falls in this category.
Oh, yeah.
Or it's like
Or the last category.
Yeah.
Golden State Killer. The thrill seeking, the sexual.
Yeah. Thrill of the hunt, not
real
getting
Golden
hot.
State Killer.
Fucking Green River, what's his face? That fucking guy.
Okay, and then the last category is power or control, and this person fantasizes about having power over another person, which I think kind of applies to all of these.
Yeah, but this feels like a Manson family kind of category too.
Or like ones who like target couples and make one member of the couple watch.
Right, Zodiac did that shit.
Yeah.
And Golden State Killer also.
Yeah, it's so weird how like there's all these, you know, categories, but there are so many killers that have all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I would argue most of them are overlapped.
Oh, yeah.
And also, there are things about somebody's psyche, even if they're fully willing to divulge everything, you're still never going to know 100% what motivations are.
And any sexual crime is also motivated about having power over another person, power and control. So,
Yep. So, okay, here's where we get to the serial killers on the loose, which I had interpreted as, okay, we know there's a killer out there. We know their MO. We just don't know who they are. They haven't been caught yet.
That's how I interpreted it.
all right, that'll fit too. Great.
So statistically speaking, today, 40% of all murders go unsolved. Great. So that's horrifying, but
But there are a lot of once-offs.
Yeah.
You're more likely to get caught the more you do it, obviously.
And a lot of ones where it's like, we know who did it, but we can't prove it.
Prove it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just talking about all murders in general.
Right. I'm just comforting myself.
But
As I stroke my hair. So I'm just getting increasingly more high as we talk about this really fucked up shit.
40% of all
fucked up.
people are secretly bananas.
Yes. You're just 100 bananas in a trench coat.
Isn't it like the 39 times podcast where like statistically
36.
Every like 36th person you walk by is a murderer or some shit?
They say you've come into contact with about 36 murderers in your lifetime.
Got it. Right. That's way less scary. Okay.
We'll get to it, honey.
Oh, good.
I don't know if that podcast still exists.
I don't know if it does either.
Yeah.
Okay, so based on 40%, well, I guess it's like 61.6% clearance rate now. But based on what we know now about what was going on in the year of our Lord 1987, we can estimate that there were at the time about 128 now convicted serial killers operating in the United States.
Like on the loose, the year we were born.
Yeah.
Cool.
We should have died so many times.
Oh, the amount of times that we were just roaming, no one knew where the fuck we were.
in the
90s,
dark.
Man.
The early 2000s.
And like our parents
Taking a bus downtown.
weren't neglectful. Like
Not at all.
that was just standard.
Well, you just gotta let them run loose now and then. We're fine. I mean,
Clearly we're
Think
fine.
about how many
Physically.
just like strange men that we interacted with.
So many.
remember that guy on the bus with the Colt 45 in the paper bag, and we thought he was so cool.
Yeah. Yep. On our way to and from dance class.
He gave us a mixtape.
Yep.
Poor guy. Turns out he was so depressed, probably.
Oh, I think he was shit-faced, so not super safe for 14-year-old girls on the
It
bus.
was amazing. I love it.
And Scott.
Fine. It's fine. Okay. Experts estimate that there are more than 2,000 active serial killers in the United States today, because that
What?
128 number was only the ones that they caught.
Oh, 2,000?
That's what experts estimate. Yeah. So the United States has historically had more serial killers than any other country, and maybe it has to do with our lack of gun control.
Yeah. Lack of mental health care.
Lots of social
Poor
services
education.
gone to
Yeah.
the wayside.
Flawed justice
Low
system.
social services.
Parents sending their kids to dance lessons downtown.
Exactly.
Exactly.
A lot of factors that are
Lots of factors.
actually resolvable.
Do you want to take a guess at the state with the highest rate of serial murders?
Per capita?
Washington.
Well, that's your guess.
California.
The highest rate of serial murders. Different from
I
number
guessed.
of serial killers.
So, like, where people are killed by serial murderers
Per
the most.
capita.
Yeah, like the rate.
All right, I want to change my answer. Florida.
Okay.
Oh. Alaska.
Alaska.
Is
You're
it?
right. Uh-huh.
Nice.
They have the highest
Nice.
rate of serial killings at 7.01 per 100,000.
Wow. Israel Keys did a lot of stuff up in Alaska, right?
He sure did.
Yeah.
Also, that guy who captured women and then like set them loose in the woods and like hunted them.
The
Oh,
airplane guy.
God.
Was
That's
it all
horrific.
women or was it all sorts of people?
I believe women, but I don't know for sure.
Yep.
I have like a terrible memory with this stuff.
Also, sorry, I'm like constantly wiping my nose. The sun and like things finally started blooming today, and my allergies are fucking nuts.
Yeah,
Those
my
have a lot
allergies
of
are bad
pets.
too, which is why I'm also like scratching my face a lot. My face is really itchy.
I'm not
right now.
allergic to my pets. It's always this time of year where everything starts to leak when everything's like finally blooming outside.
All the male sperm trees.
Yep, because of fucking environmental misogyny. Another episode for another day.
And I have heartburn.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And a sump pump.
Let's continue. And a sump pump. Okay, so Alaska has the highest rate of serial killings, followed by Louisiana.
Wow.
Oh.
California has the highest number of serial killings total, like quantitative. This must just be within like a certain amount of time. I
think
know
I
why
read something too that California has produced one of the highest numbers of serial killers. Like they were from California originally.
Also just got a
because
big
it's such a huge,
population.
it's a
they
huge
just
state.
have a lot of people.
I think Alaska was also high on that list. It was like Alaska, California, Florida, Wisconsin were like the top 4 for where serial killers were from originally.
I feel like I got that somewhere. Whatever. Well, I'm just going to keep going.
During the period of study.
Yeah.
Yes. During this period of study, California had the highest number of serial killings with 1,628, followed by Texas in second place at 893. So California has like double the number as number 2.
People.
Yeah, more room to roam.
Texas has a lot of people too.
That's true.
Yep. And places and like rural areas. To
Rural jurors.
Yep.
bodies. Yeah.
The state average number of serial killing victims, average across all states, each state is 225.9.
In each state, on average, 225.9 people are murdered by serial killers.
Not like per year, but like
in total.
ever. Yeah.
I think
wild.
that's ever. This must be ever. Numbers ever. 1,600 serial killings in California.
Or it was just a long period of study. It could be like 4 decades, you know.
Well, also, these are stats from the FBI, I believe, and because they keep changing their definition of what a serial killer is, it's hard
They don't even know.
They have to redefine it for research purposes, so yeah. All 50 states have had a notorious serial killer. For example, apparently Ted Bundy was from Florida.
No.
Wasn't he?
No.
Originally?
I don't think so.
Well, maybe they've just operated in these states.
Ted Bundy born.
And
he
then,
was killed in Florida. He was born in Vermont.
okay.
Yeah.
Then John Wayne Gacy operated in Illinois.
Okay, then yeah, that must be what that means.
And then Charles Edmund Cullen operated in New Jersey. So no one is safe anywhere. The 70s and 80s saw a... 70s? The 70s and 80s saw a shit ton of serial killers, and those numbers have actually dropped about 85% in the past 30 years. So
it's
we
gonna
have
be back, I'm telling you.
fewer serial killers out there, even though they estimate there could be as many as 2,000 operating right now.
We're due, honey.
Well, when abortion rates drop, legal abortion rates drop, crime rates increase 20 years later.
Funny how that works.
Yeah, weird. Correlation or something. The FBI now says that serial killers account for fewer than 1% of all killings. Several reasons are commonly cited for this decline, among them longer prison sentences and a reduction in parole. So many serial killers are convicted murderers who, after serving time, will get out and kill again.
We will get to it.
Nice. So now we have now we just grant parole a lot less, so there's less chances for killers to get out and kill again.
And probably because of advances in DNA technology and like communication between.
My next sentence.
There we go.
Better forensic science is also credited as our cultural and technological shifts. So we have less hitchhiking, although hitchhiking is not inherently dangerous. It was just a bunch of bullshit from the FBI to sell more cars. I really liked that episode.
Take that with a grain of salt. Okay.
It's not inherently dangerous.
Firmly disagree. It's fine. It's fine.
You are your mother's child, though.
I'd pick up a hitchhiker. Let's go.
My parents always pick up hitchhikers.
And they're not dead.
They're fine.
The hitchhikers are, but not them.
So we
They're
have
fine.
we have less hitchhiking. We have more so-called helicopter parents.
Yeah, that's true. That sucks.
And in our country, we have 60 million security cameras. So you're going to
And
get away
counting.
with it less. You're going to try it, maybe not, less.
We are in a surveillance state, okay? It is everywhere. You
But-
got a phone. You got a computer. Everybody's being tracked. You got
Everybody's
nanobots.
got a Ring camera.
You got yeah. It's just get the vaccine. You're being tracked anyway. It's
fine.
Just go ahead.
Fucking whatever. But as I said before, statistically speaking, the clearance rate for murderers today is only about 61%. But in 1965, the clearance rate was 91%.
Yeah, because all they had to do was find a person of color.
Yeah,
to
it was
lock
you.
away.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It was much easier to pin it on someone.
Funny how that worked out.
Okay, so I found a really great article from The Atlantic about the proliferation of serial killers today. And here we go. Some experts believe that serial killers are responsible for a significant number of unsolved murders. Thomas Hargrove, founder of the Murder Accountability Project, love that. This is a nonprofit that compiles data on homicide, has examined how many unsolved murders are linked by DNA evidence. He believes that at least 2% of murders are committed by serial offenders, translating to about 2,100 unidentified serial killers.
That makes
Dang.
perfect sense to
Yeah.
me. I mean, what is the likelihood that there are that many more once-off murderers with no identifiable personal connection to their victims?
Mm-hmm.
You just find a random dead body,
Yeah.
and you've already discounted people in their lives.
Right.
It must have just been a random killing, and people
Yeah.
don't just go do that once.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, do you remember a few years ago when they caught that Samuel Little,
Yes.
that guy who was a big time serial killer, but they only
Yes.
just caught him recently?
Yes.
They think he might be responsible for hundreds of murders.
It's
Wow.
really scary.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I
And
am.
they
I
just
am
fucking
remembering
caught
this
him.
now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We will get to it. My guy is responsible for, I don't even know, almost 10 at least. I have to look.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Amazing. Michael Arntfeld, a retired police detective and author of 12 books on serial murder, agrees that the FBI's projections are off. He blames patchy data, among other things, but he thinks the number of active serial killers is more like 3,000 or 4,000. So he's got way higher numbers.
I mean, I think it's probably really high. I was just watching the God damn it, the clown guy,
John
Fucking
Wayne
clown
Gacy.
guy. The John Wayne Gacy tapes, and this is someone who fucking loved to give interviews and talk about himself, and he still didn't confess or give information on. We still are not 100% sure how many young boys he killed. It could be, they estimate it's 35 or something, but it could be 50.
It could be way more. They also haven't identified all the people that they did
Exactly.
find.
Think about how many missing sex workers,
Yep.
trans kids, LGBTQ plus homeless people, indigenous people, especially women, are missing
Yep.
and
Yep.
not actively investigated.
Yeah. It's just,
People are getting away with.
Yeah. I would
people
agree
are
with
getting away
them.
with a lot.
I would agree with what this guy said, that it's likely 4,000 plus.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the stats, but why not?
Yeah,
Right.
why not? It's possible that today's serial killers, quote, have benefited from the falling clearance rate, which Arntfeld attributes to a handful of factors. Could also benefit from increased expertise. So these killers have studied other murderers' mistakes, and they know how to fool cops, for example, by planting false evidence. Look our show.
Yeah.
I know. Lots of tips and tricks.
I could get away with it probably.
Bury remains under environmentally protected plants. Bury remains 6 feet under a dog or a deer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's.
Don't bury remains at all. You dry
Don't
that
bury
shit out.
remains
You get
at
some
all.
dermistid beetles. Once it's bone, you dry those bones out. You smash it up
Pigs.
with some cinder blocks. Let it blow away in the wind.
Pigs.
All right.
Nothing.
Okay.
Never gonna piece that together.
That's enough.
Dissolve them in a barrel. Some sort of plastic drum.
I mean, honestly, the people who get away with it the most are the ones that don't even bother. They just leave them.
Yeah, like that fucker who's that's like the Colonial Expressway. They just leave.
They just leave them.
Leave them on the side of the road.
We'll get to some of that.
Jesus. Okay. Could also be benefiting from constrained resources. So thanks to stagnant salaries, detectives in some areas may be less qualified than their predecessors. So maybe the cops just
capitalism?
fucking suck because they're
More
not being
shit on their books.
Yeah.
Not testing rape kits.
Oh, yeah. They just want to fucking close cases. It's like there's no motivation for actual justice to be served.
Or for like cases that take a lot of time and energy and focus.
They
Are spread too thin.
They could also be benefiting from growing social isolation, which can make potential victims more vulnerable. Oh, we met on Match.com. Of course I want to meet up and have a picnic. I haven't seen anyone in 6 months. And greater geographic mobility.
Yep.
So Israel Keys, for example. And this can make the dots a lot harder to connect.
Right. We can bounce around super easily now.
Right.
All over the world.
Yeah.
Shit.
So here's...
Kenyon's been doing it for years. How many bodies have you left in your wake?
Exactly. Why do you think I didn't share any of my tips or tricks earlier?
That's why I started sweating when I brought up the Beatles.
Yeah, you guys are showing my hand. Shut it down.
Okay, back to this Atlantic article. As an FBI press release put it in 2016, quote, if there is such a thing as an ideal profession for a serial killer, it may well be a long-haul truck driver.
Oh,
I
we'll
am
get
always
to it.
fucking petrified when I have to like use the bathroom at a truck stop or a rest stop like that, like on the freeway. I'm always like, I usually will make like Zach go first if he has to pee, and I'll wait in the car. And
Why
then
do you
when
go to
he's
truck?
done,
Just go to a gas station, like a normal person.
like if we're driving on a long distance
you're
road trip and you gotta
just-
pee, and that's where you gotta pee.
You're just as likely to get snatched by a truck driver at a gas station on a highway
Well,
as you are a truck stop on a
They
highway.
have snacks. They have
Yeah,
scratch
always
tickets.
go to his gas.
Sometimes
a
you
gas
gotta
station.
pee, and sometimes the truck stops have like, you know, restaurants in them, or they have vending machines in them, whatever.
I guess. I grew
But
up
anyway.
with truck drivers, so I'm not like
I'm not blaming all truck
instinctively
drivers. We've
afraid of
already
Yes,
them.
all truck drivers.
we had a truckers episode sponsored by a trucker. Like that's great, but
Your
I'm
job
just
is great,
saying,
and you're more likely to kill someone.
I'm petrified at truck stops bathrooms because it's a good place to grab somebody.
Yep. And as I will continue to illustrate here.
I grab myself in truck stop bathrooms all the time.
God.
Ew. Can you imagine a less sexy place?
Ew.
To grab yourself.
Ugh.
They do have
I
showers.
have to give myself a good honk at a gas station.
Strange
Okay.
smells, broken tiles,
Free
leaky
smell.
faucets.
Ugh. Oh. You gotta start going to
Did
the
you
good
really
truck
say
stops.
Free smells.
No, I said
What did you say?
I don't know, weird smells. I don't know. I don't think I said free smells.
Like Jimmy John's has free smells.
I have been ordering a lot of Jimmy John's, so maybe I
had it for
subconsciously
lunch
said
today.
Free smell.
They don't charge.
Just like muddy paper towels on the floor.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Ugh.
Just smells like dollar store detergent, bleach.
Oh.
You're lucky if it smells like bleach.
Okay. Truckers appeared on the FBI's radar more than a decade ago when an investigation revealed that women were being murdered along the I-40 corridor. Since then, the FBI's Highway Serial Killings Initiative, they have a whole initiative about this, has investigated the murders of more than 750 victims found near highways and identified nearly 450 potential suspects, a disproportionate number of whom are truck drivers.
Cool.
My guy's a truck driver with highway killings, so you're nailing it.
Yeah.
Wow.
The victims in these cases are primarily women who are living high risk transient lifestyles. These are not my words.
Okay.
They are the FBI's words.
FBI is victim blaming. Got it.
They're frequently picked up at truck stops or service stations.
Yeah.
Mike Amott, the founder of Radford University's Serial Killer Information Center, says truckers are well positioned to evade detection. Quote, the more locations you're operating in, the more difficult it is for law enforcement to see a link, as we said about the geographical, the traveling, the Israel Keys thing.
Maybe all of their routes should be stored in one database that the police have access to so they can track where the truckers have been and are going.
I mean, there's a shitload of trucks out there.
Yeah.
Nobody has the resources to do that.
I mean, the trucks are being tracked unless they're independently owned. All of those trucks are being tracked because the trucking companies don't want to pay extra for gas that they don't have to. Mm-hmm. They're tracking where their merchandise is going.
Well, yeah.
All of them.
Yeah, they're being tracked, but to have them in one database for law enforcement, maybe.
Just saying.
Yeah. Of course, would-be homicidal maniacs lurk in all kinds of jobs. Ted Bundy was a law student. Sam Little was a boxer and an ambulance attendant. In his book, Murder in Plain English, Arndt Field breaks down the top serial killer professions and finds that truckers are joined by police and military personnel, forestry workers, hotel porters, and warehouse managers, among others. In each case, the problem isn't so much the people who fill the job, but the job itself. Mm-hmm. The key question, Arnold told the author, is whether a given vocation's duties hinder or enable killing on the side. The gas station attendant has no opportunity, whereas the long-haul trucker has lots of opportunity.
Mm-hmm. My guy was so busy killing, I don't think he ever held down a job.
Great.
I don't even know where his fucking money came from.
I'm trying to figure out if podcasting enables or inhibits.
Enables.
Because I never leave my house, so I think for me personally, it inhibits. And I have a job
Well, you could leave your house.
I could, but I personally
But then would you be a podcaster?
Okay, so I am a podcaster, and I don't leave my house. So applying this specifically to me, this inhibits, because I don't have opportunities to come in contact with people.
You don't have the excuse also to leave your house for long stretches of time.
Exactly.
I see what you're saying there.
Bill would know, I don't go anywhere. So if I was out of town, I was single, then I could get away with it, sure, but
I think it totally enables me anyway, because my search history has shown me some shit.
In that way,
and I would otherwise be on a list.
In that way, it enables in that specific regard, because it would be easy to argue that any macabre thing in our search history is for the purposes of our podcast.
Right.
But that wouldn't apply to every podcaster.
Correct. Yeah. If you had a non-true crime podcast, then...
And then again, if you had a true crime podcast that does take you all around the world studying or around the country, Josh Hallmark studying Israel Keys,
Patrick,
he could, y'all could easily be serial killers. Well, I sure hope you liked that clip. If you did like that clip, make sure you are subscribing to our YouTube channel, leaving us a nice review, and joining us on Patreon for even more video content, audio content, salacious content all around. Come join us. Treat yourself.